What is going on, everyone? This is Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is February 3rd, 2021. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today we're going to go through some housekeeping items related to the Pristine Capital trading service that I am launching. We're going to go through the price action of the indices. We'll go under the hood and check out the sectors and style factors like we always do. We're going to take a look at the trades that I took today, including one, thematic investment. And I took so many trades today, so we'll go through all of them, very quickly. And then we'll wrap up with some options order flow. But before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer. Nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan, your own risk parameters. And last but not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. So let's jump right in. So for our housekeeping items, if you guys have been watching these videos, I recently parted ways from Leduc Trading, and I'm going to be starting my own service, which is, Pristine Capital Trading. And I've been working on this, the past couple of days and making some progress. My Discord server is complete. So that is ready to go. Last night signed up for the Google Suite. Got Zoom. That way we can do our video chats and webinars. And then I also sourced a new computer. This machine that I'm currently using, I am trying to run 5 monitors on it, and my graphics card is just not good enough to run all 5. So if you've been watching my videos, there's a lot of times that I'm kind of lagging, trying to pull up charts, and it's a bit slow. So, I ended up sourcing a new computer. One of my old roommates, she used to be a big-time gamer, so she has a really nice gaming computer, and she's going to sell it to me for a discount, which is awesome. So she really came in clutch, and I'm going to be getting that, within the week. So still, more work to do for me. Pretty much what I've been doing is, trading during the day, and then, working on, spinning up the service at night. So, once I finish recording this, then I'm going to get, right back to work on that. But yeah, more to come. There have been a bunch of you that have reached out so far, pretty much saying like, hey, I'd like to continue to work together. And I'm in the same exact boat. I want to keep working with everyone and just keep the continuity that we had. Because even like a lot of the risk that I put on in my old employer, now I believe it's sort of just sitting there and people don't really know, like, what are we doing with these trades? So rest assured, I am, getting this service spun up as quickly as I can, and I am on it. All right, so let's jump right into the price action. So we ended up having the S&P 500 finish up 0.08% today. We had the NASDAQ QQQ finish down 0.4%. We had the IWM up 0.3%, and we had the Dow Jones finish up 0.14%. And so let's see what we have here. So if we take a look, we had a really nasty spill on the downside. We had all of that hedge fund degrossing, related to the GameStop issues, and essentially like all these funds blowing up. Then we had a really sharp bounce back rally. So this has been, 2 fast and furious days of just green price action. I had a feeling that, we would get some sort of consolidation. Like I didn't even expect us to move this fast on the headline indices. And that's sort of what we got today, where we auctioned, much lower. I'm sure there were some bears that were, getting overly excited about this little drop that we had intraday. But we pretty much closed right at this monthly value area high. And for me, that's not a bad thing at all. It usually doesn't work that way where you just go like, boom, into the value area, boom, top of the value area, boom, breakout. Usually there is some consolidation that occurs when these indices are moving very quickly. And that's really what we got today. So let's see. We have the ES, we have our Qs. The Qs were a little bit weaker. We had Google earnings yesterday that ended up being very strong. So Google finished up, I believe, is like up 7+% today. Amazon finished, I believe, down 2% today. And we'll go through all of those. But yeah, the Qs is really like Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, Apple, those big mega cap names. So looks like those mega cap names, took a bit of a breather and had some profit taking. So that's, certainly not out of the ordinary when you have a really sharp bounce like this. And you can see, this little 0.4% sell-off is occurring on very low volume. So it's not exactly the same as like these red candles here where it was like, oh my gosh, we're just breaking through technical levels on high volume. Yeah, this looks a little bit more benign. We might even get a retest of this monthly value area high or this 5-day EMA. So I'm pretty comfortable. If the indices want to move sideways for a little bit, I certainly would not mind that at all. Now let's see, we had IWM up 0.3%. Yeah, you can see the IWM is moving along here. So you can see we are also approaching this monthly value area high here, and we're above all these key moving averages. So still making progress on the IWM. And then the Dow Jones, which we have here. Yeah, you can see the Dow Jones catching on this monthly value area low, and we're kind of just muddling around below the 20-day simple moving average and below the monthly point of control. Yeah, so the Dow Jones, is lagging behind quite a bit. So let's jump into the sectors and style factors right here. And let's see what we had. We had some explosive price action today. So if you see the cannabis sector, this YOLO ETF finished up 8.4%. So this was like a blow off move in these cannabis stocks. If you guys have been following me for a while, this is, one of my key themes for 2021. I'm heavily invested in this sector. So let's see. I'm going to pull this up. Yeah, so like this, my toss is kind of like not really working. So we're going to wait for the program to respond. And I'm going to pull up. Okay, is this going again? There we go. Okay, looks like we're back in business here. But yeah, if you take a look at this YOLO ETF, just really nice, pretty much blow off move here. So we got the move above the monthly value area high yesterday. And then you can see, on really high volume, it looks like people are putting capital to work in this space. We had essentially like a 2 to 3 week correction here, but we really just had a doji candle for the day. So I actually have still on the books. I ended up taking a bunch of these off. And these have just been sitting in a long-term account for me. Where are they? Hang on. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. But I put this trade on back in, like October or November. And I believe a couple of people jumped into this with me. Let me see. I'm just pulling this up here. There we go. And so what I used to do, before I joined Leduc Trading was a lot of times I would just post my trades on Twitter. So if you take a look here, YOLO. I'm going to do the advanced search. Yeah, so I would just post like live entries, live exits. I found that's what I like to do since I'm a trader, sharing what I traded and all that stuff. But let's see, YOLO. Where is this here? Yeah, here it is. So I got long these in October. Wow, this is October 15th of 2020. Long the May 2021 12 strike YOLO calls for $1.75. I put, I believe in the future of the cannabis industry and I like the top holdings advisor shares chose for their fund. So this was back when YOLO was at $11.74. And I just knew with this legalization theme, this should have seen, some bullish price action. And here we are today with this YOLO ETF at 25 bucks. So I ended up closing out some of those calls. I closed about like a third of the position, and I closed out for about like $13.40. So yeah, those were closed out, for about like an 8 to 10 bagger, somewhere around there. So yeah, that was a really good trade. I happen to have some of those left over my IRA. I closed about like 30% of the position, and I'm just leaving the rest on. So we'll see what happens with that. But I did close that out today just because the candle that we saw today, was pretty crazy. So we had YOLO, which did really well. We also have these Chinese internet names that really just don't stop. So you can see KWeb just continues its march higher, up 1.41%. We had Energy with a really nice day at 4.27%. Then you can see we did have profit taking in a bunch of different areas. And I actually took some profits today too, which I'll share with you guys in a moment. Yeah, you can see in the semis were kind of weak. We had some semis earnings after the close. And then we had biotech, which was also a little bit weak. So definitely a mixed bag. Definitely a rotational day and just some consolidation. If we look at these style factors, high beta was our best performer today, up 2.09%. We have the cyclicals up as well, for a change. These are actually, becoming much stronger on a relative basis. And then for our laggards, we had momentum lagging down 0.29%. And then we had, our high div low vol was bid, which is more defensive. And we had defensives and min vol, which were sold. So yeah, to me, this doesn't really look risk off. Like I said in my other video, the couple days leading up to that correction, we saw like high div, low vol, and defensives really bid, while everything else was coming off a bit. And we're not really seeing that right now. So in terms of trades, I did so many trades today. So in the pre-market, I started reading about this story related to VCVC, and it is, an EV SPAC that just announced an acquisition target. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing, I saw some research someone put out, and it was essentially like the order book for a bunch of these different companies, what those would look like. And I saw VCVC, their target actually had much more orders in their log than Lucid Motors did. So I was like, you know what? I'm long CCIV. CCIV had a super bullish day yesterday. And I just had this feeling. I was like, there might be some selling in CCIV. And some of that capital might end up getting allocated to this VCVC. So what I did was I sold my CCIV in the pre-market session. So I offloaded this in pre-market and just happened to get lucky where it did sell off. And then I added to this VCVC. And I actually added a pretty big position in this thing. And for the most part, like I'm pretty sure I started posting in my Discord. Just because I'm basically like beta testing it right now. So I think I put like a couple of trades in there. And I listed those out. But yeah, I offloaded CCIV because I was like, you know what? I had a really good run with this stock. So like, I'll just close out for now. If the price action looks strong, I'll jump right back in. And I ended up adding to this VCVC in 2 tranches. So I really, I sort of loaded up on it. And pretty much like in the morning when I bought in pre-market, I essentially like bought the high in VCVC. And it came down a little bit. And I bought a little bit more. So as of right now, I'm pretty much like at break even in that position. Nothing too crazy. This Discord is over here trying to start up. Okay, here we go. And if we take a look here. Yeah, so I started building this thing out. So like I just posted a couple of trades in here and then my machine was running too slow. So I ended up just closing this out. I didn't get all of them in, but yeah, you can see my order here. I got in for $16.90 in the pre-market. I exited half of my CCIV at $7.42 for like $32.46. That was my entry price. I bought more of the VCVC for $15.70, so I kind of like dollar cost averaged in. And then I closed my second half of CCIV because it just started to drop a little bit. And I was like, you know what? I want to leave on a good note here. So I took that off. So I'm completely out of CCIV. And then I posted, this is my other one before my machine just started to go really slow. I entered this PVH February butterfly. It's a $10 wide butterfly, and I entered it for $2.70. If you take a look here, it looks like VCVC actually came back. I was holding on to this thing, and it was like, oh my gosh, it dumped all the way to 1461. Yeah, we'll see what it does tomorrow and in the coming days. But yeah, I noticed that Capri, which is in the luxury retail segment, reported earnings, and they had a nice earnings report. And I know PVH is also in that segment, where I believe they have Calvin Klein and a couple of other brands. So I was like, oh my gosh, this one had a nasty spill the other day. One of my friends, he always recommends this company to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy this butterfly. It expires February 19th, and I'm targeting the 95 area. So really what I'm hoping is what I like about the butterflies, even if we get a bit of a sideways move, so long as this thing ends up drifting up into options expiration, that should be, could be a profitable trade. So we'll see. I risked $2.70 on that one to potentially make $7.30. So we will see what happens with that one. Then for my other trades, so talked about this, talked about these two, talked about PVH. TTD, yesterday I put on that 635 by 650 call spread. And I did a couple contracts on it. TTD ended up having a really nice move up early in the day. And you can see TTD. Yeah, when we opened up, it was pretty much like raging above this 850 level. So my call spread, which is for expiring February 12th, was fully in the money already. So I was like, okay, let me take a target in this thing. So I ended up closing half of it. And I closed it sort of when it was on the decline a little bit. I probably closed it around like the 850 level. I purchased that spread for, I think it was like $6. And I sold out of half of it for like $7.15. So nice little, scalp I pretty much had for one day. I'm still holding the second half of it. So I'm probably going to hold that into expiration. But I figured, I'm not going to pig out and just try to wait. So I wanted to take my target in that one. XLK is a position that I put on at my former, outfit. I had some June calls on the books. And I just noticed early in the morning, we had these mega cap earnings. And I noticed XLK was up maybe a little bit on the day. And I was like, you know what? I can find a better use of that capital, honestly. So I ended up closing this one more towards the highs of the day. So that was a good exit. But I bought those calls for, I believe, like $10.15. Ended up selling them for about $12.15. So about like a 20% gain. I just figured there's better ways to use this capital. So I just exited that. And I figured, let me take off a trade anyway. So we had that one. Amazon, I put on my call spread for earnings yesterday. I risked about $4.90 to make a potential gain of $5.10. And Amazon at certain points in the day looked like it was cooperating. But then it ended up selling off into the close. So this one, I'm still holding my call spread, which expires Friday. It's looking like that one is probably going to be a loser. But yeah, for the earnings trades, I always just size pretty small. So we'll see for that one. Maybe it rallies back a little bit tomorrow and I'll just close out, for a small loss. So we'll see. Yeah, with Amazon, they had a really nice earnings report, but, Jeff Bezos is leaving. So that's kind of a, definitely removes some of the excitement from the earnings. So we'll see what happens with that one. This one I'm super excited about that I entered today. This is ENGMF. The company is Enthusiastic Gaming. And I was doing some research on this one over the weekend. I actually spoke with somebody on Twitter about this one. And it looks like a very, very interesting company. It is a media company centered around esports. In this company, they have a bunch of different businesses that they've purchased. They actually own 7 esports teams, and they have a really large user base. Like they have essentially, for me, I think of myself on Twitter. I have 3,300 followers. Enthusiastic Gaming, across all their different channels that they own, they have, I believe it was something ridiculous. It was in the millions and millions of viewers. So this is a company, it's so under the radar, and you can see it's been moving really nicely. It's an over-the-counter stock, and I saw it cross this point of control today, so I jumped on it, and I added a pretty sizable position in Enthusiastic Gaming today. So this one, I want to just hold on to it, more of like an intermediate to long-term swing, and just see if it does anything. It's only a $5 stock, and I just don't see many people talking about it. So I am positioned in this thing. I figured, no better day than today when we get that move above the monthly point of control. And you can see this move is coming on decently high volume compared to the sell-off here. So I'm actually pretty excited about that one just to see what it does. And then we had, finally Digital Turbine, ticker APPS. This is the company I did a write-up on maybe 2 months ago. I essentially wrote a bullish research report. If anybody's interested in receiving that, just to see what I wrote, definitely send me an email. I'll shoot you over the document. But I wrote that report when APPS was at about $40 a share. I just did a deep fundamental dive on the company. It's a digital advertising company, and they have a really, really nice business model. They're pretty much embedded in the Android ecosystem. They essentially have a monopoly on what they do. It's a really cool company, and I just hold some shares for the long term. Purchased those at around $40, and APPS just had really strong earnings after the close, where they beat their earnings estimate, beat their revenue estimate, and they guided up for the next quarter. So I have a long-term position in APPS from way lower, and I actually added to my position in my investing championship account. I added. Let me see, what's it trading at now? Yeah, so I added around $70 in the after hours market. And I just figured when these really powerful moves occur after earnings, a lot of times that'll be, the start of another leg up. And I really like this company for the long term anyway. So I was I'm going to take a position and really just add to my long term holding. So we'll see. This one rallied all the way up to 74. Looks like, we're getting a little bit of selling on very low volume here. Yeah, we'll see. APPS, I do think, could definitely become $100 stock. I don't really see what is stopping them. Of course, it's going to take a while, but we'll see. So I added that one to my competitive account, really just added to my long-term holding from way lower. So that about does it for my trades for today. That is actually a bunch of trades. Now let's take a quick look. We'll just go through one or two of these companies with this options order flow. I'm actually going to show you, a company that I'm looking to trade tomorrow potentially. That way it's just a little bit quicker. I won't go through all these companies here. But a lot of these cryptocurrency companies look really interesting because, Bitcoin and Ethereum have kind of been trending sideways for a few weeks. Ethereum has been in a little bit of a stronger trend, but now they're starting to move to the upside again. You can see a call buyer came in for Riot today at 10:34. Let's see what Riot did into the close. Okay, yeah, so Riot's looking pretty good. It just remounted the 20-day simple moving average. So yeah, it looks pretty good. MicroStrategy is another one in this space, but this one is a little bit extended at this point. Yeah, you can see it's up out of that upper Bollinger Band. But yeah, this one has been a mover. So we'll see what happens with that one. And then Plug. I see there is an order coming in for Plug. You can see these March calls with the 55 strikes. So these are pretty deep in the money. Looks like more of a stock replacement play to me. And Plug is a name that I've traded earlier in the year. Had some success trading it. And take a look. It looks like it's just setting up nicely. It tagged the 20-day simple moving average. And it's building out a nice base here. You know, originally I rode this one from about like 39 bucks all the way up to 70. And I sold out of my position. And I was like, let me just see what it does here. And it's put in a nice sideways base. So I am interested in re-entering. Now let's see, Blink as well. Yeah, Blink also looks very strong, up 8.19%. So I'll be looking at both of these for tomorrow. But that about does it for this market recap video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am going to be posting my affiliate link for Cheddarflow in the description of this video, as I always do. And I'm also going to be posting my Pristine Capital email. So if you are interested in becoming a charter member of my new service that I'm launching, feel free to just shoot me a note. With that being said, have a great night, and I will see you all tomorrow.